Welcome to TK and Drinks. This is my TK and Drinks first episode of What's the Story. Going to be talking to some mead makers, some mazers, hopefully some home brewers eventually at some point as well too. Would love to incorporate that here on the TK and Drinks. Go ahead, hit that subscribe, notify, do all those things. Follow my man Jon Oppegaard here over on Facebook and Instagram at Oppegaard Meadery. Want to buy some delicious meads from him, hit him up, opmead.com. OP Mead, for those who can't figure that part out. So, how you doing, Brother Jon? Good to see you again. It's the first time technically talking in a number of years.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yes, it has. I think the last time we saw you was at Delaney's first birthday party.
Is that? Fuck,
At Kara's mom's house, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
So, got this whole brand new, well, not brand new, but up and going and kicking ass meadery going on, and whole remodel going on and everything. So that's got to be exhilarating and full of anxiety.
Yeah, it's a bit stressful trying to expand in the middle of a pandemic where I'm not allowed to have anybody hang out.
Right. I was just actually going through your page today and was showing one of my friends your rad table that you had made for the meat hall.
The table is magic. It's so good.
Dude, it literally has magic in it. It looks like magic. That is, I have to come up there solely to see that. I'm sure a ton of people are telling you, hey, I saw that table. I got to come sit at that table.
Dude, it sucks because the guy who made that table made, let's see, 6 other tables, plus he's building me a bar, plus he built my original bar, and they're all like really, really nicely done, but like nobody gives a shit because they see the magic table, and the magic table is just so far over the top, and it's so like crazy looking, and it's got so much detail that like it makes everything else look normal, even though like all the other tables would stand out like in any other brewery. Like they look really nice.
Right.
Next to that one, they just look kind of dull. That's just so wild. I mean, like the skulls coming out of it, and like there's a bunch of little like hidden skulls throughout it. Like it's pretty rad.
Is it painted on there, or is it like engraved into the table?
So part of it was like he had to dig the sap out. So it's got like holes and kind of grooves in the wood naturally from where the sap was.
Yeah.
That's all filled with epoxy, and then there's carved like raven skulls throughout there. Like some of them glow in the dark, and they've got like stuff painted on them and carved into them. And then the centerpiece is actually like, it's kind of hard to explain. You have to see it in real life, but like it's cut out all the way through, and it's just solid epoxy, like a couple inches deep. And there's multiple layers, so it looks like there's like the Meadery logo is in there, and it's like floating. And then there's skulls in that, and some of the skulls come out, and they're all like little what do you call it? Like he had skull molds like made, and then those are all carved and painted and put in there. And then the knotwork that goes all the way across the table is just like it's magic.
Yeah, it looked so rad. It looked like there was stuff that was like recessed down into the wood. That must be what you were talking about.
Exactly. There's like multiple layers like in the resin parts, and then obviously the whole table covered in resin, but most of it is just like, you know, wood with like 2 live edges on either end, and like it'd be a really nice table without all of the skulls,
right?
And work, but like it's just so extra.
And he's the same guy who made your bars and all your other stuff too.
Yeah. Same dude who made all of the furniture. That was just his one, like, you know, pretty much just gave him like, dude, do whatever the fuck you want, like go crazy, like come up with like
money, make me awesome.
Yeah. Like just do this. This will be like the main like gaming nerd kind of area table. And like we flew out our friend from Montana to do all the knotwork, and our other friend did all the skulls. Like a bunch of people had, well, a bunch of close people to the meadery had their hand in it. So like it's magic for a bunch of reasons.
I say that makes it even cooler. That makes it like a whole communal piece, and everybody has a.
It definitely, yeah, it's definitely like a communal piece. I mean, Jason did like 99% of like the work and the hard parts and making it all look real pretty, but like he tapped on a bunch of our friends to like just make it so much more special. It's rad.
That, yeah, I think that's going to be one of the talking points of the mead world for a while, because everything is rolling.
Anybody who comes in here notices it immediately, even though it's kind of like set off to the side and the back. Like it really stands out. And it's huge too. I mean, it's like 4 feet across and like 10 feet long. mean, it's massive.
Was that like a 16, 20 person table or something like that?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on how comfortable you are with your friends.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So how close would you say you are to having the meat hall remodel part taken care of?
That's so tough to say. Like it'll be this year for sure. And sooner rather like than the end of the year, but I don't know, we'll see. There's still so much work to be done.
I
And with
say,
all the COVID stuff, we're kind of taking our time and erring on the safe side just to make sure, like there's no health issues or anything. So
yeah.
we're not in a massive rush. Even if everything was done and ready today, we still wouldn't let people hang out. Like we're trying to be careful.
Oh, and that's what I like about you guys is you're always thinking about your customers first, thinking about their patrons, thinking about your friends and everything like that. And that's actually sooner than I was thinking you were going to have it done. I figured it would be about this time next year before you were fully operational. So to even have it done that soon is really awesome.
I'm hoping so. There's a lot of events and fairs and whatnot going on, late summer, early fall.
Right.
They all seem real confident they're going to be able to pull it off. So if things are safe enough to gather in that capacity by then, we'll be letting people hang around. But we're going to wait until it's safe. It might be next year. Like that's possible.
Right. So one thing my viewers might not know about you is you brew a ton, literally tons of mead for Renaissance festivals and a couple different events up there in Washington and the Pacific Northwest. Did you brew that all last year and have it just like chilling around for this year now, or how'd that end up going?
I got really lucky. The fair, the one really, really large one that like we start planning 6, 7, 8 months in advance because of how much meat it takes to get them taken care of. They were so cool about it. Like we had a contract, we had everything planned. I mean, in the first couple of months of last year, I want to say about like 8 or 9 tons of honey,
Whew.
basically just for them. Like most of it was for them. And then obviously they had to cancel because of COVID and all that. And I understand, like I got no hard feelings about it. I get it. We all got to be careful. We're not trying to kill, all our customers or nothing.
Right.
And so they basically just called me up and were like, hey, what do you want to do? We know we ordered meat, and obviously like if we need to buy it all from you and store it somewhere, we will. And at the end of it, I ended up just like basically keeping it here at the meadery, keeping stock. This last year was the first year since I opened I didn't run out of mead, and it's basically because they canceled their order and I had so much meat on hand. So it just helped fund the expansion and all the other goofy projects I came up with. It all worked out, and then that order just kind of skipped a year basically, and so now I'm doing a bunch of meat for them this year, assuming they can hold their event, which it sounds like they're going to. So
that's freaking rad. That's crazy to think that your tons of mead basically was just enough to sustain you through the rest of the year. Because there was even a couple times where you were quasi sold out down to like 2 flavors or 1 flavor.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time. I mean, it's I can't make enough. I mean, it's always running out. It doesn't matter. I mean, I buy, like I said, I bought 8 or 9 tons in the first 2 months of last year, and like that didn't make it that long. I mean, I was still regularly buying honey, from everywhere I can. It's tough when you're trying to buy really high quality honey because it's not like, like the big giant companies, they don't have the kinds of honey that I want. And so I use a lot of local beekeepers and co-ops, and it's a never ending battle to just get enough honey to supply what I want. And then even then, I run short.
What does 9 tons of honey look like? Like,
are
we talking drum?
It took me a couple of truck loads. Well, so like I don't have the necessary equipment to pump honey out of a drum, and
okay.
So there are special types of drums that make it a little easier, and there's ways to do it. But I'm lucky in that everybody that I deal with is able to get it into 5-gallon buckets.
Oh.
So it's just a lot of 5-gallon buckets, a lot. I mean,
Pallets and pallets of them.
Yeah. I shipped. I want to say from Hawaii in the beginning of last year, I shipped like 35-gallon buckets, 30-something 5-gallon buckets. And then my local guys that I use down in Lakewood a lot, Robbins, they're really awesome. It was like 40 or 50 buckets from them. And then a couple of barrels from them of some like caramelized blueberry blossom that they had. And then there's a lot of smaller guys who will show up, you know, with 5 or 10 buckets worth of honey. And that's what they're just trying to move. And I just buy all of it.
I'll take that, add it to the collection.
Yeah, it's great when people don't know me very well and they come in and they're like, hey, you know, I've got 10 buckets of honey. Like, how many are you thinking? You want to get a bucket or two? And I'm like, I guess I'll take all of them. Call me when you have more.
No kidding, dude.
It's kind of weird. It's weird to think about like how much honey we go through compared to just a few years ago. It's gotten really out of control.
That's a good problem to have. If you're gonna have a problem, that's one that you would definitely like to have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, luckily I live in Washington. We got a lot of good honey around here. It's just going to get it all. A lot of driving, a lot of logistics, but it's around.
Right, and I've heard in some other interviews and around that sometimes apiaries are just dying to get rid of honey because it's more of like a byproduct for them. They're not really even interested so much in the honey.
Yeah, it depends. Some of them, their main source of income comes from like mobile pollinating setups.
Right.
So they're driving to a farm, they're pollinating everything, and then they leave, and the honey is kind of a byproduct. So they'll have a little bit extra. Those types of outfits don't usually have a lot of honey. And then also there's the problem where not all honey is what I want for my mead.
Sure.
So not like all of that honey is just up for grabs because I might not be able to use it. So it's sometimes I run into those kind of outfits, but more often than not, it's the co-ops and there's a few like kind of smaller sort of honey packing outfits where they do all of the logistics of collecting all the honey from all the smaller beekeepers, and then I buy it from them.
Got you.
So
hey, it's still helping more people, man.
Yeah.
Helping bring more people up. That's freaking rad. So I did have some rather generic questions for you. Try to make these what's the story situations just a little bit quirky,
right, cool.
a little bit out of the normal. Let's see. Actually, let's do what the story is. My intention initially was to start this series with kind of like a story behind like one of your favorite meads or a unique mead. You know, of course, I was thinking the taco mead. But you've told that story before. It's out there if people are interested in it. I know you did the interview with Vicky on Got Mead about it and all that stuff. But what's one of your favorite meads that you've made that doesn't get a lot of attention?
Oh, that's a tough one because like it's gonna sound sort of cocky, but they all come off the shelf pretty quick. You know, nothing really sits around. I don't do big enough batches where there's mead that just nobody really seems to care for.
Yeah, I guess if the taco one is selling, that's pretty much the.
Right. Yeah. That one, people are aggressive about that. I mean, I literally walked into a bottle shop towards the end of last year, and one of their customers recognized me, took out his checkbook and said, what's it going to take for you to make taco meat off season? I want more of that. And he was dead serious. That guy would have written down probably whatever number I said. People are wild for that taco meat. I don't really get it. I personally don't drink it.
Yeah.
Like I drink it to like make sure it's right as I'm producing it. And then as soon as it's in bottles, I don't touch that stuff. Like the novelty wore off on me a while ago.
Right.
But people love it, and I don't really get it, but it's very funny to me, you know. And I enjoy that like people just like it's so funny to them.
Oh yeah.
That big dumb goofy smile whenever anybody brings up taco meat and like nobody else knows what it is, and somebody who's like in the know, you know, just loses their shit. Like that's the best.
Yeah, I took a bottle of mine here down to a share. And it was pretty split. There was some people like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. And then there was people like, can you please get me more of this? I need this in my life right now.
It's wild how everyone's always really one way or another. And I've done a couple of meads like that. Recently for my mead club, I did that mead Draugr, which was kind of similar in that everybody really loved it or they hated it.
Which one was that one?
So that was the fig persimmons mint honey, like really recent. I'm not sure if you had a bottle of that.
I don't think I got that one yet.
But it's a MLF ferment, really unique, all over the place kind of. I mean, it's a lot of really earthy and herbal flavors, and so like some people drank it and they said it was just horrible, and they didn't get why I was selling it. And then you know somebody else would walk in while they're explaining that to me and tell me how they want whatever I have left of it, they will buy all of it for any price because it's the best meat they ever had. Like it's the same with the taco meat. Everybody was just really split one way or the other.
Fig persimmons. I love persimmons. Figs aren't necessarily my favorite, but I love a good persimmons.
It was really cool too because it was a chocolate persimmons that doesn't normally grow around here. And a buddy of mine has chocolate persimmons tree set up at his place, like, you know, only a few miles down the road. And he showed up with a whole bunch of them and asked me if I could do anything with them. Persimmons and mead is a thing that I don't personally really care for. It's just a little bit too earthy, kind of, for my preference. Like, I enjoy like the technical aspect of like a well balanced fig or persimmons mead for that matter, but they're not my favorite. I don't drink a ton of them, but that mead was one that I just really wanted to get weird with, and so it got a lot of unusual. Like the mint honey is really herbal on its own. The persimmons on top of that, and the figs, and then the MLF ferment is really unique. If you're not familiar with that, malolactic is like basically you introduce this stuff that like processes the malic acid that I put in there before I did it. Malic acid is the stuff in apples that mostly makes apples taste like apples, but it processes that and turns it into lactic acid. So rather than being like sour and acidic, it's got this sort of like creamy vibe to it.
Gotcha.
So it had this sort of creamy, earthy, herbal vibe to it that was just, you know, I just wanted to see if I could. And it was really good. Like, technically, it had a lot of really cool flavors to it.
That's awesome.
But, you know, like the taco meat, not everybody was a fan, which is cool.
You got to try everything at least once, man. You never know. It might be your favorite thing after you try it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it was one of those meats that nobody else is going to do. So, like, it's not like you're going to find it on the store shelf. You know, it's just really unique and special just because nobody else is going to try it.
Now, in that same regard, I just saw on Facebook the other day, Mr. Christopher Clark over there at Four Fires.
The onion mead?
Yes, caramelized sweet onion mead. Are you kidding me?
I'm so happy about that. I want to try it real bad.
I want to try a bottle of that with the quickness. Oh my God.
I am a huge fan of Four Fires. Those guys, they are fun as hell. And Christopher is such a goofy dude. He is one of my favorite Facebook friends for sure. And they make some really good mead too.
Yeah, I need to. They're on my getting right close to the top of my list for my next purchases. They got the Spumoni one, the Stupid Pony. I don't know if you've ever had a Spumoni ice cream before, but holy
yeah,
God, I'm dying to try that one. Cherries, pistachio.
Yeah, if I can get him to ship some of that onion mead, I'm definitely gonna try me some of that because that just seems dumber than the taco mead, which I'm about.
See, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm really digging the idea of savory meads. That's what I've been talking about in my last couple live videos I do on Instagram. Is about I would love to see like a upwelling of savory meads across all flavor profiles, dry, sweet.
Well, the nice thing about them is, you know, like I can imagine I might not like the onion mead. Like, that's possible, right? But I know that even if I don't like it, I can cook with it, and I'll find a use for it. And that's why those savory meads are so cool, because even if it's just so wild and out there and you don't care for the flavor, you can cook with them still. Like, it's still gonna have an application. There's no reason to dump it out. Like, you can make some really cool stuff with it.
Yep.
So that's kind of my plan. If I get a hold of some of that onion mead, I'm gonna drink some of it. If I fall in love with it, I don't know. I'll probably make some ridiculous drunken Facebook rant about it. But I expect more likely I'm gonna take a drink, I'm gonna laugh about it, and then I'm gonna find something really good to cook with it.
And that's what Lauren's loving, all these mead flavor profiles. She's going crazy, all the different meal ideas and food pairing ideas, and it's a whole thing. I'm loving that. Let's see. Next question would be: have you made a mead other than like the taco meat one that you don't like?
One
that you
like before the meadery open, because all the commercial meads, I mean, if I sell something, I think it's good.
Okay.
Even if it's not something I'm going to drink bottles and bottles of, like Draugr or taco mead, like they're not my favorite. Like, I'm not going to drink a whole bunch of it, but I do still think it's good. Before the meadery opened, though, I made a bunch of weird stuff. I mean, there was a red tomato mead that I did. that had so much red tomatoes in it that when I first started tinkering with it, it tastes like Heinz ketchup and vodka, and it was really funny, but it wasn't good. And then we ended up putting a whole bunch of lilikoi juice in it, and what are those peppers? Some really smoky peppers. I forget what they're called, but like some really smoky peppers that I had later on. So I made this really smoky pepper lilikoi red tomato mead, and that was okay. Everybody who tried the final product, like, was really enjoyed it, but that first part where it just tastes like ketchup and vodka was rough. And also, I mean, I early on in my mead making days, I kind of decided that I couldn't really trust any information I learned off the internet. So I did a lot of experimenting. I did a lot of the things you weren't supposed to do when you make mead, a lot of messing with temperatures and nutrients and adding certain ingredients you're not supposed to, and all of the old tricks and new tricks. And so I've definitely made a lot of batches of mead that just sucked.
Right.
Because, that they were just bad ways of doing it. But generally speaking,
if you like it.
Yeah, usually by the end of it, I'll like it. Mead is one of those things where, when you make beer, it's really hard to constantly keep adjusting it and changing it and adding things. You pretty much do 99% of it in the beginning, and then what's at the end is done is done. If you keep screwing with it, you're going to ruin it. Where with mead, you can be a bit more artistic about it. You can keep adding things and changing things. And you can have a completely finished mead in the tank and then just decide, you know what, I'd rather have a bunch of raspberries in there, throw a bunch of raspberries in there, and it's going to be fine. It's not going to cause any problems.
That's
yeah. So generally speaking, I can keep tweaking a thing until I like it.
Right on, man. So you're going out hiking and you only got room in your pack for one bottle of mead. What are you bringing with you?
Ooh, okay. Is it mine or like somebody else's?
Fair game. Open table.
Dang, okay. I'm going hiking. Is it hot out?
Yeah, this is shorts hiking. You're going, well, you're always wearing shorts, so that's irrelevant. But yeah, summertime hiking, something maybe going out for the evening, catch an evening hike, hit the sunset.
I mean, if it's one of mine.
Yeah, one of yours and one from someone else.
I do. There's a couple of session meads that I do. There's a blueberry lemonade one and a blackberry, or a blueberry cider and a blackberry lemonade one. Those two, and my axe and you have my sword. Those are killer on a hot day. They're so good. So I'm drinking them as is. Usually when I'm drinking on a hot day, I'll take the oak barrel or my traditional and I cut them with lemonade, and then I put a little bit of like Jameson in them.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
And on a hot day, you just like stuff the thing full of ice. That's properly good. But if I'm drinking somebody else's, there's this outfit down in Oregon called Author, and they do a Marionberry and a raspberry in a can.
Yes.
And those things are just so crushable, and luckily they become kind of easy to find around, at least in the Pacific Northwest. So
I'm at my beer store right across the street.
Nice, yeah. I like a 6-pack of those on a hike, properly good.
Nice. Yeah. See, I need to pick up some of their cans as well. I just walk by them every time because it's one of those things. It's like it's always there, so I don't feel like I need to buy it now. But
you feel rushed, yeah. And with mead,
I don't feel rushed.
With mead, like 99% of the time, if you see mead, like you got to grab it then because it might not be there next week.
Exactly.
But not with Author. Like that stuff's always around. But it's good. That Marionberry and the raspberry, those are my two favorites. I can drink those all day.
Yeah, that Marionberry one is the one that's I always see it on there because it's the unique to Oregon berry. I think Marionberries are from Oregon.
Yeah, somewhere up here. I don't remember exactly where, but that sounds right.
They're unique to the Pacific Northwest, so I'm definitely trying to try that thing.
Definitely.
See here. Oh, who's your favorite meadery to go to? Like, if you're gonna make a purchase, and who's your go-to when you're not drinking your own stuff?
Oh, that's easy. Birminghorn. Birminghorn is my favorite meadery. That's not mine, right? I see that. Like I am so in love with everything I've ever had from them. I have never had, just my own personal preference and what they seem to like line up so well. So like not only are their meads well made, which like tons of meaderies out there make crazy good mead. Like their meaderies are well made, but they also line up with what I personally like.
Yes.
Every single time. I mean, every single one of their meads I've had, I just feel so bad finishing the bottle. because I know it's such a pain in the ass to get more because they're so damn far away. But like one of these days, I'm just gonna fly out there and go kick it in Delaware for a minute and just drink mead
That
until they boot me out of there.
that's a dude. I'd be on that same plane, man. I would love to go out there. I had this. They have a Zambezi traditional. Holy cow, that thing is like.
Yep.
It blows my mind that all that flavor and all that depth of character comes from just the honey and the fermentation process. Like there's no additives, no anything else. That's
Yep. It's wild. I mean, Jon, the head mead maker and one of the, I believe, 2 owners of it, if I remember right. Hopefully, fucking Jon doesn't watch this and yell at me, but that dude, there's a reason he's got probably more awards than the rest of us combined. I mean, that guy, he's been making mead since, before me and you lived together. Like he's been making mead for a really long time. So like he's really good at it. Like everything he does is just fantastic. So like I nerd out not on just like the fact that I love his mead, but like the technical aspect of like how just drinkable and well balanced everything they do is.
yeah. He's got a cherry almond one right now, the Choretto.
Yep.
And have you had that one before?
I've had a few friends that have had it, and a couple of people keep promising to grab me a bottle, but they haven't yet. So I haven't actually had it, but I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh my. Before Lauren had her first glass down, she had me online buying. She's like, "No, you're buying 4 more bottles of those. We're having a dinner party. I need one for this." I mean, that I was just blown away at the whole everything, the encompassingness of it all.
I am a huge fan of theirs. They're great. And yeah. Jon and Robert are both like, they're such nice dudes, and they're super into metal too, which is really cool. Like they're really big supporters of the metal scene over there, so they get bonus points for that too.
And they just seem like they're just super cool, down to earth people in general.
They really are. They're cool as hell.
Yeah, so I've been talking to them. Hopefully, add them to the collection. Think that'd be awesome to see Oppegaard and Horn side by side on a.
For sure, I would totally dig that.
Oh man. All right. Now the important questions. Pineapple on your pizza? Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No. Pineapple on pizza does not make sense. It's cool if you want to eat it. Like everybody to each their own. If you want to eat things that don't make sense, totally go for it. But like, no.
Toilet paper, hang in the front and the back.
Oh, okay. So I have a really strong opinion about this.
Oh,
I don't believe that it should matter. And so when I put the toilet paper roll on the thing, I don't look. It's random, 50-50, and it could go either way. And if you put effort into like doing it one way or the other, then like that's a waste of time and thought. So like it shouldn't actually matter. 50-50. Leave it up to chaos.
That is the best answer I could have hoped for. And it's the first time I've ever gotten that response from somebody. It doesn't matter. You're wasting your time thinking about it. Let chaos take control. That is awesome. Turn signals, yes or no?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will like lose my shit if you pull it. Like if you change lanes without a turn signal, like I will curse you and wish all of the bad things on you. All you have to do is move your finger 1 inch and you can make the world safer for everybody. And if you're not willing to do that, you're a dick.
And a lot of times with those newer cars, you don't even have to do that. You just have to like bump it slightly, right, and it'll go off for a 4 months.
You just have to think about it. Like you just have to think, like change lanes, and it does it for you.
Yeah, and you can't even be bothered to do that. You got to go.
Exactly. Don't be that fucking lazy.
Don't be that guy.
Right.
Oh my man, that's freaking hilarious. All right, so definitely didn't have too many other questions already prepared. Like I said, I got caught off guard with the whole situation and everything like that. But so what do you got coming down the pipeline that you can let us know? Any not so secret projects you got working on that's out of the normal?
Oh, let's see. I mean, right now I'm kind of just gearing up to do a lot of the regular stuff, and I am supplying a number of events this year with mead that I normally do. So nothing too crazy. Okay. I'm doing a couple of session meads pretty quick here, and we're going to start canning some stuff.
Oh, nice.
Technically brand new. Nobody actually knows about that yet. Oh. The first one is an elderflower grapefruit thing that's pretty rad. Yeah, it's pretty good. Other than that, let's see. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, it's mostly just this time of year. trying to come up with enough berries and bourbon barrels to just do my regular stuff.
Got you. Well, that's cool, man. It's nice to have steady work, and it's nice to be able to supply the events again and stuff like that. It's probably just nice to get back to a sense of normalcy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're ever going to be normal again, but I do miss events. You know, it's funny in the moment 2 years ago, if you asked me when there's like, you know, thousands of people around me and everybody's asking me questions about mead, I'd probably tell you that I hate it. But like right now in this moment, like I kind of miss it.
It's only because they're telling you can't do it, and it's, you know, and you know better than to go do it for your own health reasons and everybody else's.
Right. I'm not trying to get COVID. I'm not trying to kill my friends and elderly relatives and my, you know, coworkers. So like I get it. You know, I'm playing along because I understand.
Right.
But I just really want it to be over.
Right. If it was just a, you know, fuck the authorities type of thing, then, you know, it'd be a completely different sentiment. But
Right.
like you said, people's healths are coming into it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I know too many people who have gotten sick, and unfortunately in my kind of distant friend group, I've known a couple of people who passed away from COVID. So it's serious. And even then, I know people that have gotten it and came out of it but lost their taste buds, you know, for 6+ months.
Oh, that's terrifying, brother.
Yeah. Or I know a guy who is probably going to have to use an inhaler for the rest of his life because of COVID.
Right.
So, like, I mean, it's serious. It sucks. Hopefully it's going to be over soon with all the vaccines. Fingers crossed.
Definitely. Like you said, getting you go back to events and everything again will definitely be welcome return, even if it's not the way it used to be. Just having something going on where you can go and participate is going to be fun.
I want to go get drunk in a field and swing swords around so bad.
Ask to get drunk in a field and swing some swords. Come on.
I know. That's all I want. But like, I mean, obviously I could do that now, but I want to do that with like 300 other people.
With other like-minded people who also want to get drunk in a field and swing swords around. That's what makes it awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool, my man. Well, I am going to let you go. I got this thing telling me here that it is running out of juice and time. So
cool.
Thank you so much for being here and doing this with me. And I'm sure this will be awkward, like all my other videos are always coming out awkward these days. But hey, you won't get past the awkward stage if you don't go through the awkward stage, right?
Exactly. And I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with awkward.
No. I'm loving it. I'm having a blast doing it, and that's what's really important. Even if nobody watches my videos, I'm having fun doing it. So that's what
matters. I mean, I think you've got a couple of people watching them regularly. So
I got some regular viewers and everything like that, but it's like I said, the important thing is that I'm having fun doing it. The distribution thing's going good, and it's full steam ahead. Got another shipment coming in. Should be shipping out tomorrow from Space Time in Pennsylvania.
That's awesome.
And like I said, talking with the cats at Birmingham, fingers crossed, knock on wood. And man, it's full steam ahead.
Hell yeah, right on, man.
So again, thanks everybody for watching tonight. This is the first episode of TK and Drinks. What's the story? And again, my man Jon Oppegaard here, opmead.com. Check him out on Instagram, Facebook, Oppegaard Meadery. Can't miss him. Really rad dragon, eternal dragon logo. So thank you, Jon, for being here, and I'll talk to you later.
Thanks for having me, man. See you later.